Hi, this is Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Thank you so much for joining us for our Saturday live stream. This live stream is all about you getting answers to your questions about moving to or living in Panama. I'll get started in just a little bit and I'll tell you how you can ask a question. But while we're waiting for people to roll in, I have a couple of announcements to make. One, we've been getting quite a few questions about our 2026 tour dates, and I should have those available within the next 2 weeks. They're already approved with all the hotels. It's just a matter of getting them up on our website, so that'll happen soon. Also, for the benefit of you that have not been on our YouTube channel or our Q&A before, thanks so much for being here. Just a little bit of background. I'm Jackie Lange, the owner of Panama Relocation Tours since 2010. We've been helping people move to Panama the right way. We do that 3 different ways. One is with our all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama Relocation Tours. The other one is we offer private tours of just specific areas. If you know you want to move to a certain beach area, you know you want to move to a certain mountain area or to Panama City, then we have private tours for that. We also have something called our online Panama Relocation Guide, which is like a home study course on how to move to Panama. It has all the essential information you need, like immigration attorney contacts, real estate agents you can trust, how to get your pets here, how to get a driver's license, how to buy a car, how to get health insurance, on and on. You can get more information about all of those things on our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. You'll get 15 free lessons about moving to Panama. And I also send out at least once or twice a week, I send out an update about all things Panama, information about new videos, new articles, these Q&A live streams also. Last week I announced a new tour that we just added for July the 25th through August the 1st. It's already almost sold out. We only have 2 seats left on that tour. So if you're interested in that July tour, I suggest you grab it fast. We only need a $500 per person deposit. The remainder isn't due, and the fee isn't due until 30 days before your tour. Also, on some other tours, April the 4th, we have 1 opening. April the 25th, we have 1 opening. June the 13th, we have 1 opening. So we're almost sold out until September. So if you're thinking about coming to Panama, I strongly advise you to put down a deposit for one of the tours that are currently available. You can see what's available by going to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and just click on Book a Tour. And it has all the different dates that are available. So I also want to announce that we have a new moderator that's joining us today. Debbie Klappa, who's usually our moderator, is actually doing Panama Relocation Tour number 276 right now, so she's not available to moderate the live stream. But I have Mark, W. Mark, it says, as our moderator. So he's going to make sure that we leave the politics off the table. You're supposed to leave politics at the border when you come to Panama. And, there's different opinions about everything. And it's better to avoid political talk and avoid conflict whenever you come to Panama and on our live stream also. So Mark, thank you so much for being our moderator. So that's it. For one other thing that I want to remind you about, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything to do that. And then you'll be the first one to know about new videos that we post. I posted a new video last week, and I have 2 more videos coming up really soon. So now let me tell you how it works for these Q&A live streams. Some of you already know because you've been here before, but for the benefit of the new people, I want to, Mark says, everyone behave, including me. So I can't click on your name and pop you up on the screen for you to ask your question. You're going to have to type it into the chat window, and please put 3 question marks in front of your question so that I'll recognize it as a question. And when you do that, then I'm going to be able to pop it up on the screen and I'll answer it for you. But that's the only way. So we've got our first question right here, and you can see how it works. So Life Lessons wants to know, are retirees' income taxed in Panama? They are not. Panama has something called the territorial taxing system, which means that they only tax you on money that you earn selling products or services or working at a job in Panama. Any income that you earn outside of Panama, you don't pay any taxes at all. That's one of the reasons that Panama is really a preferred place to live, because many places are going to tax you on your worldwide income, and you don't want to get involved in that. So Mark wants to know, I've heard conflicting info. Does my Social Security income statement have to be signed by Social Security officials? So your Social Security income does not have to be signed. It's easier if you get it signed. What you would do is go there and request and it's not online. You have to call them and request a Form 2458, and then they'll send you a signed income verification letter. But some people say, oh, we don't do that anymore. We just don't do that. So the easy way to avoid conflict is to just print out your income verification from ssa.gov. And then you need to attach an affidavit to it. We have a sample affidavit in our online Panama Relocation Guide, but just type up something that basically says, I swear that this income for Mark Skeen, Social Security number so-and-so, that is $1,650 or whatever the amount is, that I will get it for the rest of my life. And then get that affidavit signed in front of a notary. And then whenever you turn in your documents to the Panama consulate to get them authenticated, they'll authenticate the affidavit and your income verification. So next question. For the Pensionado visa, what requirements are there to include parents? So it's not possible for you to include your parents on your Pensionado visa. You can include dependents that are less than 18 years old automatically. They can be included. If you have children that are up to 24 years old, if they're a full-time student, you can include them, but you can't include your parents. Your parents would have to get their own visa. If they don't qualify for a Pensionado visa, then there's many other visas that are available. If you go to our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, just type in other visas, and you'll see what other visas are available. Dan wants to know, are there any visa-related documents you would suggest we bring with us on a tour? Absolutely not. You don't need any visa documents on a tour. Just enjoy your tour, enjoy learning about Panama, enjoy doing everything. You don't need to get your visa before or after the tour. You can wait and do that part later. By the way, I see that we're getting a lot of questions, as usual, for our Q&A live streams. And if your question scrolls off the screen before I get to it, I apologize for that. I'm getting to them as quick as I can, but you may have to type it in 2 or 3 times for me to see it. So Greg wants to know, when purchasing real estate in Panama, how is the property valuation determined? Is it simply agreed upon based on some form of appraisal? They don't even use appraisals half of the time. It's just a guess, because we have an MLS system, but it's rarely used. Just by a couple of agents use it. So there's not comparable comps. Hopefully you're working with a very experienced real estate agent that understands the market and knows the prices, and that's how they come up with the prices. By the way, we have recommendations for real estate agents and immigration attorneys in our online Panama Relocation Guide. When buying furniture in Boquete, is there a delivery service? Well, first of all, Jane, there's not too many places you can buy furniture in Boquete. There's a used furniture place, or it's a consignment store called Larry's Place in Boquete. There's also one that the proceeds go to Dog Camp, which is an organization that takes care of dogs. But it's all used furniture, and they do offer delivery service. I don't know if they charge for it or not. But if you were to go to Medavie, to like EP Furniture or Furniture City, which is Ashley Furniture, then they do deliver to you. Christina wants to know, can you point us in the right direction to start the visa paperwork? Do we get a lawyer first or send papers to the consulate first? My recommendation on the whole process of getting a visa is start with getting an immigration attorney because they're going to help advise you. You may know you want to get the Pensionado visa, or you may know you want to get a Friendly Nation visa by investing $200,000 into a 3-year CD. You may know what you want to get, but it's a good idea to get your immigration attorney first. Then your immigration attorney, based on which visa you're going to get, they'll send you a list of documents you need to get along with instructions. Many of them even send you samples of what the documents look like. So then once you get your documents together, then you could scan those and email them or WhatsApp them to your immigration attorney. Say, does everything look good? And they say, yep, everything looks good. And then that's when you can go ahead and get it authenticated at the Panama consulate. Now, keep in mind, if you're Canadian, you can't do that. If you're Canadian, your documents have to be apostille. If you're a U.S. citizen, you can get them authenticated at the Panama consulate. Let's see, I already did that question. Tammy says, are the realtor and lawyers you recommend, are they on kickbacks? No, I don't get anything at all from any of the attorneys, and you can ask them. I've been working with many of them for many, many, many years. They've never paid me a penny, and I wouldn't accept it. They've offered to give me $50, but I said no. I don't take referrals. And by the way, you can't buy your way into our online guide. Someone told me one time that we heard people have to pay money to get in your online guide. That's absolutely not true. Nobody can buy their way into the guide. They're vetted. We pick people based on a lot of recommendations, a lot of research that we do, verifying their references, and that's how they get in our online guide. They have to do a good job. If they don't do a good job, sometimes people start out great and then their service might slip a little bit. We see that a lot at restaurants in Panama, but they have to maintain a really good service to stay in our online guide. So which month is the best to look for a rental property? So let me tell you the months that are the worst months to look for a rental property, and then any other month would be a good one. The worst month to look for a rental property is between December, January, February, March, and April. Those are the worst months to be looking for a rental property. And I say that because a lot of the Canadian snowbirds come down then and they've sucked up a lot of the inventory. So there's not very much to choose from. But if you start looking for a rental property in April, then you're going to have much more things to choose from, and the prices will be much better too. And next question here. For Panamanian driver's license, must you have the temporary visa or will a letter from your attorney work? You must have your temporary visa before you can get your driver's license. By the way, you have to get a Panama driver's license once you apply for your visa. And even just when they stamp your passport and you've turned in your paperwork before you get your visa card, once you have applied for a visa, you can no longer drive with your foreign license. You have to get a Panama driver's license. Tammy wants to know, how is the process to get a driver's license? So there's two ways to get a Panama driver's license. The easiest way is for you to get your current driver's license authenticated at your embassy in Panama City, the Canadian embassy in Panama City, the U.S. embassy, the German embassy in Panama City. Once that happens, by the way, U.S. embassy is $100 to do that authentication. Once that happens, the next step is to get it re-authenticated at the Ministry of Foreign Relations in Panama City. We have a list of people we call fixers that can help you with that part. Then you need to get your blood test done to determine what your blood type is. Then you go to an office where they do a vision and hearing test. You spend $40 and you get a driver's license. Fred wants to know, do you foresee any changes to the pet quarantine when first arriving? Are there different rules? No, the rules are exactly the same. Whether you have a temporary visa, permanent visa, if you're just coming as a tourist, the rules are exactly the same. Your dog or cat must quarantine, or bird. Well, right now there's a ban on birds, but your pet has to quarantine for at least 40 days in one location. That doesn't mean you can't like spend 1 week here and 1 week there and 1 week something. You can't go on vacation. You have to quarantine in one location for 40 days. Bess wants to know, I'm flying to Panama, Boquete next week. Can I just put meds in my carry-on, not in the original bottle? I'll have one prescription enough for a week. That'll be fine. You can use one of those little pill organizer things. That's what a lot of people do, and it'll be just fine. Lori wants to know, how do I have 2 addresses in the States, one to receive Social Security and my forwarding address in Miami? Yes, you can have 2 addresses, one for Social Security, Medicare, things like that, and then you can have a different address for getting your Amazon packages and orders from Walmart and things like that. I hope I understood the question correctly. And Jeff wants to know, we won't be moving to Panama for several months. Does it make sense to set up Medicare Advantage before we move? It does make sense to set it up, Jeff, but I need to tell you that there's a window of opportunity for signing up for or switching over to Medicare Advantage. So we have a recommendation of several different Medicare Advantage specialists in our online Panama Relocation Guide. You need to contact them to see if you qualify for that window of opportunity. I think it's 3 months before you turn 65. You can sign up for it at any time. But other than that, if you already have Medicare, there's only certain months you can switch over to Medicare Advantage. So they know a lot more about that than I do. By the way, really, really soon, everybody, this month, I'm going to have an announcement about a Panama City hospital that will be accepting Medicare Advantage and other U.S. insurances. Stay tuned. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you're going to find out who it is right away, or if you're already one of our clients, then you'll find out right away in our private Facebook group. But that's how you get the information faster. How hard is it to get a work visa? It's pretty difficult to get a work visa. You have to have the right visa first. If you have a Pensionado visa, it's very, very, very difficult to get a work permit. I know someone that they do have a Pensionado visa. They've been here more than 5 years, and they're trying to get a work permit. It's been 17 months, and they still don't have it. So they haven't been able to get it. However, if you get a Friendly Nation visa or some of the other visas, then it's much easier to get a work permit. What is the difference between the permanent visa and the e-sedula? I'm glad you asked that question, because the permanent visa gives you permission to live in Panama indefinitely. So it's a permission to live in Panama as long as you want to, come and go as long as you want to. E-sedula has nothing to do with your visa, except that you can't get it until after you get your permanent visa. Your e-sedula, and E stands for that you're an immigrant. Panamanians is just a cedula. It's just a national ID card. Even every Panamanian, when they turn 18 years old, they get a cedula. So they're 2 different documents. Once you get your e-sedula, you can put your visa away in your safety deposit box, and you don't have to carry it with you anymore. But before you get that e-sedula, you have to carry your visa card and your passport with you. Whoops, wrong question. How far in advance are rental units listed and advertised in the Cherokee Highlands, and if looking for 3 to 6 month rental during the rainy season? So if you're just looking for a 3-month rental during the rainy season, you might want to look on Airbnb, because then you can reserve something well in advance. But other properties that are listed like on Facebook Marketplace or with some of the real estate agents or a landlord, they usually are going to let you know maybe 2 weeks before it's available, a month before it's available at the most. So if you want to get something booked well in advance, I would suggest Airbnb. For the pet quarantine, is it a facility They quarantine at your home. It's not a facility. They stay right at your home. If you have a house, you can take it for a walk in your backyard. You can let them out. If you have a fenced yard, you can let them out there. But yeah, so you don't have to take them to a facility. Tony wants to know, can I get my documents authenticated in Panama, or do you have to do it in the States? Good question, Tony. Your documents must be authenticated in the United States or in Canada or in whatever country that you live in. They cannot be authenticated in Panama. So, question up here about mail. Does outgoing mail go through the same mail service or courier? So it doesn't. There's really not very much outgoing mail here in Panama. Most of the towns do have a little post office there where you can send mail going out, just regular mail going out. But it could take a month or 2 months or 3 months to get there, and it may not get there at all. If you want to guarantee that the mail goes out, then you're going to have to use a service like DHL or FedEx, where it costs about $80 to send mail. So outgoing mail just doesn't happen very often because of those prices. Rob wants to know, do you know during the tour, during the overnight stays, if the rooms have carbon monoxide devices? I don't know if they do or not. I know they have fire detection, but I don't know if they have carbon monoxide. Terry says, how much is a throwaway ticket and where do I get it? So throwaway ticket, also go to Onward travel ticket. You can go just do a Google search for Onward travel, and they cost usually about $20. So why would you need that? The reason you need that is that you might want to do that is whenever you come to Panama and you don't have a residency visa, you're required to show Onward travel or buy a round trip ticket. If you don't know exactly when you're going to be leaving and you don't want to buy that Onward ticket or pay the big fee for a change date, then some people buy a one-way ticket to Panama, then separately they buy something called an Onward travel ticket. Either way, if you don't have a residency visa and if you're from North America, you cannot stay in Panama for more than 180 days. So you have to leave or you could get in trouble and a fine. Whoops. Is there bus service from Boquete to PriceSmart in David? There is not bus service to PriceSmart. There's bus service from Boquete to David to the bus terminal, and then from there you can get a taxi to go to PriceSmart. There's also some people that have a service that's $40. It's only $1.75 to take the bus from Boquete to David. But there is a gentleman that has a service, several people that have a service for $40. They'll pick you up in Boquete, take you to PriceSmart or other places to go shopping in David, and then take you back home. So that's an option too, if you don't mind spending the big bucks for it. Are you able to obtain a driver's license after age 70? Yes, Stacy, you can still get a driver's license after age 70. The only thing extra that you have to do is when you're 70 or older, whether you're getting a new license or renewing a license, then you also have to go to an internal medicine doctor or a geriatric doctor, and they're going to ask you a couple of silly little questions like what day is it and how many fingers do you have up, and things like that, just to make sure you're mentally capable of driving. And Bob wants to know, what, if any, are the challenges of getting U.S. mail? Super easy to get U.S. mail, but you want to eliminate as much as possible, get as many things converted to electronic as possible. What you have to do is you have to set up an address with a mail forwarding company that's in Panama. They're going to assign you an address in Florida. So any mail like Amazon package or letters from your bank or things like that, then you would have all that mail going to the address in Florida. Then it's put on a plane and it's flown to Panama. Then it's put on a truck and taken to the town where you live. We have an article that gives a lot more detail about that. So if you go to our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com and search Amazon, then you can see more details about how to get mail. So Tammy says, if you leave within 100 days back to the U.S., how long do you have to be out of Panama before you can return? Technically, you're supposed to be gone for at least 30 days before you can come back into Panama. The solution, of course, is to get a residency visa. Then you don't have to worry about leaving every 180 days. By the way, you should also know that when you come to Panama as a tourist, even though you can stay for 180 days, you can only drive for the first 90 days that you're in Panama. So make sure that you're not driving after 90 days. For those of you that came in just a little bit late for the live stream and you're wondering, how do I ask a question? So what you have to do is you have to put 3 question marks in front of your question. Then I'll recognize it as a question because there's other conversations going on over there. So if you put 3 question marks in front of it, then I'll click on it and pop it up on the screen and answer your question. And if I don't get to it on the first roll up, then you might have to type it in a second time. So Linda says, when I left Panama City Airport, the immigration guy scanned my passport but did not stamp it. I heard there's a fine. So whenever you leave at the airport, then all they do is they scan your passport, but they do not stamp it at the airport. If you leave at a border crossing, like at the Costa Rica border, they're going to scan your passport and they're going to stamp it. If you don't get that stamp and you try to come back into Panama, then yes, there's a $1,000 fine. What vaccines are required? There are no vaccines required to visit or live in Panama. Is it worth it to bring your car from the USA to Panama? In my opinion, it's absolutely not worth it to bring your car to Panama, but it's a personal decision. I have an article about the pros and the cons of bringing your car to Panama, one of them being that you have to pay a 22% import tax. So if you go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and search bringing my car, then you'll see more details about what's involved with that. Besides the $3,000 to $5,000 it costs to get it here and the import tax, it just doesn't seem worth it. Christina says, when applying for a visa, do you have to reapply every 2 years until you get your permanent visa? So it depends on which visa you're going to get. If you get the Pensionado visa, you're going to get your permanent visa within 6 months. And you don't have to reapply. Once you get your temporary visa, then you get your permanent visa in 6 months if it's the Pensionado visa. If you get one of the other visas, like the Friendly Nation visa, then you're first going to get a temporary visa. Then 2 years later, you're going to get your permanent visa. But you don't have to show all your paperwork all over again. You don't have to worry about that. Yvonne says, does Dolega have city water? Are there water outages in Dolega? So Dolega does have municipal water, and it would not be a place that would be very rare for them to have any water outages there. Electrical outages might happen once in a while, but not water outages. My wife wants to buy a puppy in Panama. Is there a dog shop in Medavie that we can purchase or adopt? So instead of going to a dog shop to buy a dog, I would highly recommend that you do a Google search for Dog Camp Boquete. They have about 85 dogs there that they have rehabilitated and got ready for adoption, and that would be the better place. Dog Camp Boquete, just give a search for that. And we plan to do the temp visa while they're on the tour. You don't recommend that? Why? So first of all, when you come on the tour is to determine, am I even going to like Panama or not? So you might want to make sure you're going to like Panama before you get your visa. The other thing about just showing up with your paperwork, it might be 2 weeks before your attorney can get you into immigration if you just show up with your paperwork. To get a visa, we really recommend that about a month in advance, you send the paperwork, the original paperwork, to your immigration attorney with FedEx or DHL. So they have time to get everything translated into Spanish, get it re-authenticated at the Ministry of Foreign Relations, and schedule an appointment for you at immigration. The other reason to not do it after the tour or before the tour, and this is a personal choice, is you're going to have, it takes at least 5 business days to get a visa. If it's a Pensionado visa, Friendly Nation visa could take a little bit longer, maybe 7 or 10 days. So that's, figure $100, $150 a day that you're going to be spending on hotel and eating out expenses. But if you wait until you actually move to Panama to get your visa, and you've already moved into your rental when you get your visa, you can save that money. Is it worth it to ship some furniture like a couch and a bedroom set? Not really, and let me tell you why. Because the majority of rentals in Panama come already furnished. It's going to have a bedroom set. It's going to have a couch, dining room table. It's going to have pots and pans and dishes and silverware and everything. If you don't like the couch, you can buy another one here for a whole lot cheaper than it would cost to ship any of your furniture to Panama. Joseph wants to know, can you get your driver's license apostilled at the Secretary of State instead of going to the U.S. Embassy? Nope, it's not possible. They did allow that, back in like 2012, they allowed it, but they don't allow that anymore. It has to be done in Panama. Yvonne says, are there fixers available in Boquete and David? Yes, we have fixers available throughout Panama. And for those that don't know, a fixer is someone that can help you get things done. They can help you get your driver's license, help you get a cell phone, help with doctor's appointments if you need that, or, getting car registration done. They can just help you with different things to do here in Panama. Is there a dog dentist in Panama? I don't know. There probably is, but I don't know. Certified FBI criminal report and Social Security income letter from the Panama consulate in Houston is what I needed to apply for Pensionado visa upon arrival, correct? Yes, those, if you're a single person, then that's all you need is your FBI criminal report and your income verification. The other thing you may need, if you don't already have it, is you're going to need that affidavit that is notarized that says that you swear that your social security payment is going to be for a lifetime or for the rest of your life, because it doesn't say that on Panama. On the income verification letter in Panama requires some kind of document that says it's for lifetime income. Yo wants to know, further to the question on passport stamp fines, does that mean that if you depart by air with no stamp, you should always return by air to avoid the fine that you could pay by the road? Absolutely, it means that. Terry says, I'm going to fly into David on Copa Airlines, and then I'll bring an urn with cremated remains. Could I bring the urn in my checked bag? You need to check with the airlines about their rules and regulations for bringing cremated remains. I know they have some special requirements for that, so search it on the airline, whether it's Copa or whichever airline, on what their requirements are. Are you still planning on insurance announcements in March? Yes, I'm still planning on that in March. What does a fixer normally cost? So if you wanted a fixer to go with you to help you get your cell phone set up, now they do speak English at many of the cell phone stores, so you really don't need a fixer. But if you wanted someone to go with you just to make you feel more comfortable, they charge about $10 for that. So it's not very much money. Now other things like getting a sedula, if you wanted a fixer to go with you to help you with that, they might charge $50 because that's going to take more time for them to follow through on all the steps. And Fred wants to know, is our marriage certificate certified from the county treasury enough, or do we need to get it from the Secretary of State? So your marriage certificate from the county treasurer, if they can do an apostille, then that will be just fine. But just to be certified, that's not good enough. You're going to have either an apostille or an authentication. So it's better If you get the apostille from the Secretary of State, then you can bypass getting that authenticated at the Panama consulate. Are COVID and flu shots available in Panama? I know they are in some places, but not everywhere. And they may not have the latest version of COVID or flu shots. Is the water safe to drink in Panama? On the mainland, the water is very safe to drink in Panama. On the islands, I would not drink the water. Every time I've done that, I got very sick. So on the islands, it's much better if you drink bottled water. You know, it's a lot of questions today. Thank you. I'm glad you're bringing all your questions to me. What's the average cost of a used vehicle? So it depends. You know, you can get a used vehicle for $5,000. You can get a much better used vehicle for $10,000, or you can get a newer used vehicle for $15,000 or $20,000. So there's all kinds of different variables. Tracy wants to know, are banks able to break $100 or $50? No, the bank will not break a bill for you unless you have an account with them. So if you go in to a bank where you don't have an account, they won't break that bill for you. We recommend you don't bring any big bills with you to Panama. Don't bring anything bigger than a 20. Bob wants to know, your marriage certificate has to be apostilled in the state it was issued. So your marriage certificate can either be apostilled in the state where it was issued, or it can be authenticated by the Panama consulate, either one. Is there a 25% discount on airline tickets when you have your visa? There's a 25% discount on airline tickets when you have your permanent visa. When you have your temporary visa, you don't qualify for any discounts for anything. You've discussed medical care before. What about dental care, quality and cost? So the only thing that I've had done, and you know, in the 15 years I've lived in Panama, is I get my teeth cleaned every 4 to 6 months, and that cost about $42. I've not had crowns or implants or any of those kind of things, but I did do an interview, I think it was last year. I did an interview with someone that had dental implants done. Also last year, we did a video interview with the owner of a dental clinic called Momentum that's in Panama City. So look through our YouTube videos for a video about someone's experience getting implants, and also you can see how high quality the dental offices are. By the way, $42.50 is what I pay to get my teeth cleaned. That's with the old lady discount. I saw that UPS offers apostille service. Have you heard of anyone else doing this in the States? So nope, you would not want to do that. What they're going to do is you pay them a fee, then they're going to send it off someplace else, because it can't be apostilled by UPS. It has to be done by a federal government office, so it couldn't be done. All they're doing is offering a service. There's all kinds of people that offer that service for a fee, and you don't need to pay anybody extra to do that. Paul wants to know, can I keep my pension and Social Security checks in my American bank and transfer money to Panama bank account? Yes, you can certainly do that. That's what most people do. They still have their Social Security or pensions going into their American or Canadian bank. And then if you have a U.S. bank, you can write a check and you can deposit that into your Panama bank account, or you can wire the money. Does Chitre have condos or high rises? I'm interested in a 1-bedroom. I love simple living. Chitre does not have condos or high rises. There is an area that's about 10 minutes away from Chitre on the way to Playa El Rompillo, which is a beach community, and they have some condos there. I don't know if they have any 1-bedrooms, but they do have 2 bedrooms. But no, they don't. They have really, you know, I just posted on our private Facebook group, I just posted the cutest 2-bedroom, 2-bath house in Chitre, furnished for $350 a month. and it's got a nice yard and everything. We just visited Panama and had trouble activating our eSIM for our Android phones. Is there recommended eSIM when traveling in Panama? I'm glad you asked that question, because this Sunday, I almost have it finished. I'm publishing a brand new article about getting an eSIM before you come to Panama, and how you can activate it so that as soon as you land, you'll automatically have cell service whenever you get here. So it's going to have a list of like the top 5 eSIM companies to use. So watch out for that article on Sunday. If you've subscribed to our newsletter at PanamaRelocationTours.com, you're going to get an email about it when the article is ready. If you didn't subscribe to our newsletter, you'll probably never know about it. Reminder, you need to put 3 question marks in front of your question, or I won't know it's a question. So can you go over the required documents for Pensionado visa again? Required documents for Pensionado visa, you need a national criminal report. If you're married, you both need that. FBI, US, RCMP, if you're Canadian. You need income verification for one person. You need to prove that you have at least $1,000 a month in lifetime income. For a couple, you need to prove that you have at least $1,250 a month in lifetime income. You can combine your incomes to meet that requirement of $1,250. The other thing you're going to need, if you're married, you're going to need a certified copy of your marriage certificate. All those documents need to be either authenticated at the Panama Consulate or Apostille at the Federal State Department. Do you know of any expats that have obtained citizenship? How hard is it to get? I do know maybe 10 different expats that have gotten citizenship. It's not easy. And of course, to get citizenship, you have to have had your permanent visa and your sedula for 5 years. After that, you can apply for citizenship, and it could take a year or a year and a half before you actually get citizenship from the time that you apply. Are there 5 business days in April for me to schedule our meeting with our attorney? I'm not familiar with Panama holidays. We need 2 more for our driver's license. So just do a Google search for Panama holidays, and it'll come up with a list of Panama holidays in 2025, Panama holidays in 2026, and it'll come up with a list of all the holidays. Can you get the vaccine for dengue and malaria here in Panama? I don't know if you can or not. I know they have treatments for dengue, but I don't think there's a vaccine to prevent dengue. I don't know if there is or not. So I don't know about that. You might search on the Ministry of Health or the MINSA, M-I-N-S-A website to get more information about it. How concerning is the water shortage in Coronado? So every year, Panama has a water shortage in some areas in Panama. It's especially bad in the Azuera Peninsula and in the beach areas along Coronado, San Carlos, and that area. It usually happens at the end of March or in April. When we've had 3 or 4 months with not hardly any rain at all, so the aquifer is very, very low. But it's not real concerning if you follow our advice and only rent a place, a house or condo, only rent a place that has reserve water tanks. Because if you have reserve water tanks, they've been filling up with the municipal water all year long, and they're completely full. So even if the municipal water shuts off, you're still going to have access to water with no problems. The problem is if you rent a place that doesn't have a big reserve water tank. The other great thing about having a reserve water tank, if necessary, there's companies that you can call that will bring potable water and fill up your reserve water tank, so you never have to worry about it. But it happens every year at the end of the dry season when the aquifers are low. If you live in an area where the weather's hot, then you may have a situation where you have low water pressure or even no water on certain days. Sometimes the municipality will come and fill up the reserve water tanks also, so you don't have to hire someone. By the way, for 10,000 liter tank, water tank, it's about $50, so it doesn't cost a lot of money. Are you really booked for the tour on the 28th? So I don't think that question was for me. If you have a question for me, put 3 question marks in front of it, but if it's not for me, you can leave the question marks off. Are there some more rentals after snowbirds leave? After the snowbirds leave, there's an abundant supply of rentals. After the snowbirds leave in April, also the prices come way down after they leave. Now, even when the snowbirds are here, there's still going to be rentals. Most of the snowbirds are going to go to the area that's in the beach areas around Coronado, San Carlos. Some come to Boquete, some go to Panama City, but it's the area around Coronado and San Carlos where there's a very big shortage of rentals during high season, and the rental prices can be twice as much during high season as they are during low season. Rich says, I'm landing the Tuesday following Easter. Is the holiday fanfare generally over by then? It's generally over by then. SS uses direct express cards as an option. Will that work there, or do we need to open a bank account? I don't know the answer to that question. Good question. I'll try to find out the answer to it, and you can get on our next Q&A live stream, and I hope I'll have an answer for you by then. Direct express cards. Never heard of it. Are work permits easier with a Friendly Nation visa? Is being a musician different for ease of working? It's much, if you have a Friendly Nation visa, it's much easier to get a work permit. You can usually get it in about 2 months, and you should, if you're a musician, then you should have a work permit to work in Panama if you plan to get paid. If you're just playing for the pure pleasure of it and not getting paid, then you wouldn't need a work permit. My Verizon plan has free calling to and from U.S. and Panama. Do I still need an eSIM for calls within Panama? So you need to verify that your Verizon plan doesn't just have calls, but does it do data in Panama, like for you checking your emails and WhatsApp messages and things like that. So you need to verify if it's just calls or is data included. If I want to rent an unfurnished apartment, is it worth it to ship some furniture like a couch? First of all, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time finding an unfurnished apartment because most of them are already furnished. But if you do find one, you could certainly ship some of your furniture, like your couch and your bedroom set, to Panama. Just know that for a 20-foot container, you're looking at about $12,000 to ship those things to Panama. You can buy a lot of stuff in Panama for $12,000. Can pensions be direct deposited into a Panama bank account? Yes. Well, let me clarify that. Your government pensions can be direct, like Social Security can be direct deposited into a Panama bank. If it's a private pension from a private company, they may or may not direct deposit into a Panama bank account, and you'd have to check with them. But if it's Social Security, no problem. I have an article about how to make that happen for Social Security. So go to our website and then search Social Security and look for the article that says, yes, you can get your Social Security when you move to Panama. Is it hard to get home PD dialysis in Panama? Is there a hospital I can check with? So I don't know if they have home dialysis in Panama. I've never heard of that. They do have places all over that you can go to, but it's about $180 per treatment. So I would say just do a Google search for dialysis in Panama and look for some of the companies that offer that and see if they have anything for at home. How much cash would you recommend you bring with you when you first come to Panama and open a bank account and other initial needs? So I would recommend when you first come to Panama, just bring a couple $1,000s. That's all you need. to open up a bank account. Some banks only want $50 to open the account. Some are going to want $1,000 to open up account. As soon as you open up the account, you can wire down $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000, and they're going to give you a debit card, so you'll have access to your cash quick and easy. Stefan says PRT Group posted about some monthly rentals can't be more than half of what your monthly income is. Maybe this is a standard with all rentals. Otherwise, I'll claim my pension instead of Social Security. I'm not sure I understand the question. Are there veterans discounts? If so, yes. So all of the immigration attorneys that we work with offer veteran discounts for you getting your visa. But there are no other veteran discounts that are available in Panama, only for getting your visa. Can you still buy houses in the old Canal Zone? You can buy houses in the old Canal Zone. I think they start at $500,000. I've seen some at $800,000, $900,000, so they're not cheap anymore. When I get my permanent visa card, will it identify me as a pensionado? So there's two different kind of permanent visa cards. Some of them say Turisto Permanente, and some of them say Pensionado Permanente. So it could say either one. Either way, they're going to know that you are a permanent resident. Can an arrest, 3 charges from 35 years ago that were not prosecuted, keep you from getting a visa? So if you got arrested and it was a felony, then that could keep you from getting a visa. If it was a misdemeanor, then it would not prevent you from getting a visa unless it was an assault charge or you spent time in jail. Then it could prevent you from getting a visa. What I would recommend you do is get a copy of your national criminal report and then contact any immigration attorney and show it to them and say, what are my chances of getting a visa whenever they see what's on there? Do you know anything about the Schwab brokerage checking account that allows ATM fees being reimbursed? I know a lot of people use that, and it works just great in Panama. Panama is going through updates to their Social Security retirement age might be impacted by this. Will that affect the Pensionado visa if you aren't in the Panama retirement age bracket? So it's not going to affect foreigners that are applying for a residency visa. And the majority of people that are in Panama don't pay into the Panama Social Security system. Unless you're an employee, then you have to. But most people don't pay into it. So it's not going to affect foreigners at all. Are there 1-bedroom condos rare or common in Panama City? There are 1-bedroom condos available in Panama City. 2-bedroom is more common, 3 bedrooms a little less, but definitely there are 1-bedroom. Panama, planning to relocate to Panama for a year in March 2026. Do I need to report both my Social Security and pension to get my Pensionado visa, or should I just get a different visa? So if you are already drawing your Social Security and your pension, you don't have to report both of them. You only need to report one if it makes at least $1,000 a month in lifetime. So let's say your Social Security was $1,100 a month. That's all you need to report. But if your Social Security is only $900 a month, then you may have to report, you're going to have to report both your pension and your Social Security. You can combine the two, but it has to equal at least $1,000 a month. But you don't need to show more, that you make more money. You just need to show them at least $1,000. Michael says, what's the ballpark cost of working with an immigration attorney to get a Pensionado visa? So ballpark cost for working with an immigration attorney, if you're a single person to get a visa, is going to be about $1,300. If you're a married couple, it's going to be about $1,600, $1,700 to get your visa. That includes both your temporary visa and your permanent visa. And, all the government fees are going to be included in that as well. Russ wants to know, by the way, we do have recommendations for super reliable and affordable immigration attorneys in our online Panama Relocation Guide. So be sure and check that out and see all the other things that it includes. On our website, just click on Online Guide at the very top, and you can read all about all the things that are included in it. Russ wants to know, we'll be coming to Panama from New England. Are there flights that go direct to Panama, and if so, which airline? I don't know if there's any direct flights, but the quickest and easiest way to find out if there are direct flights is just do Google search for Google Flights. And it's going to take you to a web page where you can put in, wherever your destination is and where you're going to. And it'll come up with a long, and the, estimated dates. It'll come up with a long list of different airlines and show which ones have nonstop. Kevin says, do the car buying contracts allow for non-prepayment payoff penalties? So, I don't know about that. If you're gonna get a loan to buy a car, you're gonna go through a bank to do that. It's not gonna be through the dealership. They're gonna send you to a bank to do that. And I don't know if they have prepayment penalties or not. Just a little bit of a break. I'm going to get a drink. 604 people on the live stream. Wow. Lots of questions. Sorry, I bumped the microphone. So if you haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just takes one click to do that. And also make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter so you can get information about that new article that's coming out on Sunday about getting an eSIM before you come to Panama, and the best one to get that will work really, really good in Panama and other places too. When you take your tour, does that also include access to the book? So it's not really a book, it's something that's all online. Whenever you come on a Panama relocation tour, you're going to get a book, pretty thick book, that has all the things that the tour guides are talking about and places for you to take notes also. And then after the tour, you get free access to the online Panama Relocation Guide. You also get access to our private Facebook group where we offer ongoing support before, during, and even after you move to Panama. It also gives you the ability to connect with about 6,000 other people that have already moved to Panama, that came on a tour, then they moved to Panama. So they're going to be a wealth of information for you as well. Is there acupuncture in Panama? There used to be acupuncture in Boquete, but that guy died, so it's not available anymore. I know it's still available in Panama City, but I don't know about other places. Is Medavie Blue Cross available? I know Blue Cross is used in some places, but this Medavie Blue Cross, I don't know about that. I'd have to ask you'd have to ask the hospitals. How many cities are on the tour? So it changes every single time because we kind of go based on where we can see rentals, where we find out expats to talk to the tour. An easy way to find out what our itinerary is and the different places that we're going to go to is if you go to our website at Panama Relocation Tours and just type in the search feature itinerary, and it shows you where we go. You said Social Security can be direct deposited into Panama Bank. Can this be done with OAC? And is there a conversion? So I'm assuming OAC is a Canadian pension, and it cannot be done with a Canadian pension. As far as I know, it can only be done with the U.S. The reason for that is Panama uses the U.S. dollar. And I don't think that you can do a direct deposit with your Canadian pensions or pensions from other countries that don't use the U.S. dollar. Are there storage places to have belongings stored while finding a permanent residence, or is it better to find a place first, then ship it? It's much better to find a place first and then ship your things, because you find the place first, then you're going to know how big the rooms are and what to ship and what not to ship. If you ship a whole bunch of stuff to Panama and then you find a place, you might not be able to find a place that your things are going to fit into. For example, many of the bedrooms are smaller in Panama. So if you're bringing a king-size bed and chest of drawers and all kinds of other things for a bedroom set, you might look a long time before you find a house that all that stuff would fit into. If you have this huge U-shaped sectional sofa, it might not fit in any of the rentals that you see. So it's better if you find the rental first and then decide. And while you're here looking for your rental, go look at some furniture stores and see the cost of buying furniture compared to the cost of shipping. A 20-foot shipping container is going to cost between $12,000 and $15,000. A 40-foot container is going to cost between $15,000 and $20,000. You can buy a lot of furniture in Panama for that much money. So it's already been 1 hour. I'm going to take a couple more questions. By the way, if I didn't get to your question today, or if you were too shy to ask your question, all you have to do is send an email to info, I-N-F-O, at PanamaRelocationTours.com. Let me pop it up on the screen, info at PanamaRelocationTours.com. So if you didn't get your question answered or you didn't want to ask it in public, then you can go ahead and type it and send it to me there. So, is it best to go to Medavie or Panama City to apply for a visa? Either way is just as good. Panama City is going to be bigger and more crowded, but your immigration attorney is going to get your number and work you right through that line really fast. So either way is good. Sonia wants to know, is Gargona a good beach town? Gargona is an excellent beach town. It's a little bit east of Coronado and about 20% cheaper than Coronado. By the way, did you see our new video of the couple that found a really great 2-bedroom casita in Coronado for $875? Make sure and check out some of our other YouTube videos. So that's it for answering your questions. I hope you learned something new. I bet you did. If I didn't get to your question, then all you have to do is send an email to info at PanamaRelocationTours.com. Let me pop it up on the screen again. Info at PanamaRelocationTours.com, and I'll be glad to reply to your email. So I'll see you next Saturday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye, everybody. And Mark, thanks for moderating.